All right, Broncos country, you can't win them all unless you win the first one, and the Broncos just beat the living crap out of the Falcons 27-7. We got Dave, we got Kodiak. Let's do it.
To Mile High Monsters.
All right, Broncos country. What a way to start the season. Let's go. Good to see everybody. Kodiak, welcome to the show. Good to have you on here. And of course, my co-host at just about everything, David of David Talks Broncos. Of course, this show presented by Prize Picks. Play 5, get 50. Guys, overall thoughts. David, start with you. What do you think, man? How does the Super Bowl roster look to you?
Dude, we look dominant. One team looked like they're coming off a 14-3 season. The other team looked like they made a grave mistake hiring a fake genius as their head coach. It didn't work out in Cleveland. It all had the same issues. And, that coach over there, he's just going to go and blame everybody else in that locker room except himself. Man, Broncos, I know it's just preseason, but we got a darn deep roster. It's going to be really hard to make this team.
I feel like there's some Shedeur Sanders hate coming out of you or something with this coach. Is that where this is coming from?
Well, towards Stefanski, yeah. But I've never just thought he's a great coach. And we saw one team was disciplined, barely got any penalties, made big plays. We had our draft picks step up. Even the guys that we've, partially have wanted to ride off. Dude, This was awesome. Great game. Y'all run up the freaking likes. The Broncos won, baby. We can move on from New England. We got a new season going.
Let's go. Kodiak, good to see you, brother. We were all hanging out in the Discord. By the way, if you are a member, you are welcome in the Discord. We'll put the link in the description.
Yes, all of our channels.
All of our channels. David set up the Discord for us so you can get in there. You guys can talk with us during and after the game. Of course, we're always in there. Kodiak, you're the analyst here. What was your overall thought, 1,000-foot view of what you saw tonight?
I mean, just to echo David's thoughts, one team looks like they were 14-3 and they were the number one seed in the AFC. And then another team looks like they're going through quarterback controversies and have a new head coach and, fire their whole front office or whatever. But either way, super duper stoked. Even though a lot of people don't put a lot of stock into the preseason, and in January and February, we're probably going to forget all about this. But man, I was telling you guys, I thought the Denver Broncos would beat every team in this preseason like they did handily last year. And this team is very deep, 1 through 90. And tonight, proved that once again.
Yeah, Broncos are 9-1 now since 23 in preseason games. Sean Payton said it himself. He likes to win. He does not like to lose. He hates to lose. I think he hates to lose more than he loves to win. So I think we expected to win this game, guys, and it was never close. The Falcons looked like they were outclassed, coaching, players. My wife, Teresa, asked me, would the second string Broncos beat the first string Atlanta Falcons? David, I throw that to you. What do you say?
Yeah, and let me tell you, our second string Denver Broncos would have beaten our 2022 Denver Broncos first string. That's how I feel about it, man.
Yeah, I believe that. Kodiak, what do you think? Serious question.
Yes.
I think they would, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why, thank you, Spoomster, for that super chat. Okay. We will talk about Manjack the fourth later, but yeah, gloveless catching, a lot of aura, but thank you for the super chat, Spoomster. I think that's on my channel, so that's awesome. Really appreciate you. But either way.
Bring it up. Spoomster says, please talk about Manjack the fourth. Dude was gloveless catching with ease. Dude looked like a veteran. He did, didn't he, Cody?
Oh, yeah. He looked like a seasoned veteran. And of all the guys between Katzis, Key, Manjack, and I know Cam Ross, he had his flashes tonight, but Manjack looks like the best of all these guys. But to answer your original question, Mr. Mike Carmellini, yeah, of course, it's so dominant. It's hard to be such a dominant team in the NFL, but the mark of a dominant team is Sean Payton saying, okay, we're going to get our starters 15 snaps. And then you realize midway through the second quarter, your starters are still out there on the defensive side of the ball because Atlanta can't put any drives together. And your guys are well below their snap count threshold. to get off the field. So really, really cool to see that. And yes, we absolutely would beat Atlanta's backups.
I think I saw a stat earlier that said Atlanta's first 8 drives, 6 punts, 2 interceptions. So, I mean that kind of tells the story, guys. So, we had our eyes out on some of these players tonight. Of course, we'll get into it, but I want to start off with Jonah Coleman.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, this guy, we had our eyes on him. We wanted to see what we hoped we would see. He looked so fast and quick and decisive. He looked like he belonged. I loved everything I saw there. Kodiak, I'll throw it back to you. As an analyst, did you see anything that you didn't like? Did you, or were you like me, I liked everything I saw. I think maybe he had one bad rep, and they pulled him out quick. They're like, nah, he's a starter. He's out. We're not going to keep him in there. So we only got to see a little bit from him, but liked everything I saw from Coleman. What were your thoughts on Coleman tonight?
Well, first of all, Mike Carmellini, you have to give yourself more credit. Okay, don't call me an analyst. You can do this too. You watch the games. Come on.
I do. I do. But when I found out you were going to be on the show tonight, I thought, good. I don't have to take notes. I just get to throw you guys questions. So I took the night off, had a little drinky, and watched the game with the family. So I'm deferring to you guys on what you guys saw tonight.
Perfect. Well, listen. Had things gone bad for Jonah Coleman, maybe I would have had to have a little drinky too, because I was really putting a lot of stock in Jonah Coleman this offseason. Man, did he look the part. Okay. He looked the part. Wish we saw a little bit more of him as a receiver, but what he was able to do was he was able to not only keep the offense on schedule, but he was actively put us ahead of the chains, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 4. We were living in those all day long when Jonah Coleman was the lead ball carrier, and that was so awesome to see. Okay, freaking Tyler Bidet and Jaleel McLaughlin. I'm tired of seeing guys like that. All right, way to shore up the RB3 spot by this front office. Really, really happy with what Jonah Coleman showed us tonight.
He was very decisive to the hole, but patient at the same time. It was kind of that blend that you look for, that you want to see. But on the one run he had where he did what I expected him to do, which was lower his shoulder and hit somebody head on and make him pay for tackling him, but then bounced off of him, did a little 360 roll, and then picked up another 4 yards. That is what separates Coleman from other running backs. It was really good to see that. David, I know you were excited to see Coleman tonight. I see the sigh of relief. Tell me about Jonah Coleman and what you saw out of him tonight.
Oh, dude, we were all telling you guys, just because he didn't test, he's not slow. He's not slow. He's got a great feel for the game. And what did we see? We saw a back with great vision tonight, finding lanes that weren't originally there, being able to make a guy miss. Again, all you needed to do was just turn on the tape against Ohio State, man. I don't know what it is where people thought this guy was stuck in the mud like Audric Estime. Couldn't have looked further from Audric Estime tonight. I think it's absolutely true. We got 3 really darn good running backs, and that means now we can talk about maybe somebody else we bring in for a 4th, but I think there's a clear drop-off between our top 3 backs and everybody else. But 6 yards a carry for Jonah Coleman today, and he ran hard. He was falling forward, and I think everything that we were all hoping he would be, he was tonight. I think that is definitely one of the takeaways. Why I had to throw him in the thumbnail.
Yeah. The thing about when you get to your 4th running back, David, though, I mean, there's going to be a fall off. So, to have 3 running backs that I like and trust seems like a luxury to me. I don't know if I can go 4 deep and start complaining about the 4th string running back, but I know you can, but I'm going to give you some food. Jaleel McLaughlin came in tonight. He did what Jaleel always does. He gives me hope, and he's like, oh, he looks really quick. He looks quick, and he goes out and comes in, and of course, fumbles the ball on the 5-yard lines and gives the Falcons 7 points. David, Jaleel. That 4th spot is up for grabs, and he just let it slip through his hands.
This is the tough truth with Jaleel, man. He was good enough to make this team in 2022, right? dude, he's not good enough to make this team. That's how I feel about it. He's good enough to make some other rosters in the NFL, but he's not good enough to make this team. And yeah, I think the bottom half of this room could use a little bit of some new blood in there just to see how they do. But dude, as like a fifth-year guy, you can't be fumbling the ball, especially in your own territory, man. I don't think he looked particularly much different. His touchdown was definitely very nice, but
He was wide open. Yeah.
The same old Jaleel. He made
Yeah.
some good plays, and he had some disappointing plays as well.
Kodiak, thoughts on Jaleel McLaughlin, and then I'll move on.
Listen, I'm glad you're tossing me this question because we got the full Jaleel McLaughlin experience tonight, okay? You got one thing where you were just like, okay, I didn't know he could do that. When he actually caught a pass, man, feels like he's been showing up at the facility at 2:30 a.m. for the past 3 years. And I was wondering, why has this guy not improved one element of his blocking or his hands? I'm like, what is going on with that? But then he catches that touchdown pass. I'm just like, yes, he gave us a little slimmer of hope. Then he gets hurt on the kickoff, and you're just like, okay, this is a little weird. The Jaleel McLaughlin experience is all over the place because you're just like, okay, he gets hurt on the kickoff, and then he comes back in. Then everyone's just like, ooh, sigh of relief. Even Ryan Harris was like, sigh of relief for Broncos country right there. And then he fumbles the ball inside your own 15, which leads to Atlanta's only touchdown of the night. And listen, I think Jaleel is a useful player, but there have been a lot of people in Broncos country that have been saying, we need to give him more touches. We need to give him more touches. I'm here to tell you, listen, you don't need to give Jaleel more touches, all right? He's a fine player. He is an NFL running back. I would love to stash him on the practice squad, but David's right. He was good enough to make this team out of Youngstown State when he was a UDFA. He ain't that guy anymore.
Whoever it is going to be on the practice squad. We're not, we're going to keep Prentice. Sean Payton made that pretty clear tonight. Fullback's part of the game. We love fullbacks. We're a fullback team. Prentice scores a touchdown. I don't see that changing. I love this. David, any last words on that? You look like you want to say something.
Well, no, I was thinking, I was like, did we see Nate Atkins? But he was kind of banged up coming into this. So I guess that's why we didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see who the starting fullback is.
But we'll have one.
Yeah, I hope that's somebody that we can just keep on the practice squad, initially. But
Prentice.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Prentice looked good, and I guess we can continue on with the stars of the game. I want to ask the chat though. Hey, y'all, let us know your player of the game, like who you really want to shout out. Come on, get in here, smash the like. We need more likes on the streams, guys. The Broncos just got their first win. All right, we dominated. Let's freaking go. Let's run it up. Y'all get in the chat.
Smash the like. BK808 comes in with just a great segue for me anyway. Webb did a great job.
You called it.
Look, yeah. I mean, he showed us who he is today, and I said, is he going to carry the 30-yard bomb game to the preseason? And he did. He clearly wanted to push the ball downfield. They tried over and over again. They weren't afraid to do it, and it did open things up underneath for us. You saw that the whole game, preseason or not. David, what were your first thoughts on the change? I saw the quarterback at the line of scrimmage with 15 seconds on the play clock over and over again. It looked like the calls were coming in as they were walking back to the operation was as smooth as I could imagine it being for his first game. And that will carry over to the regular season because it's the mechanics of getting the play calls in, getting them in the huddle and getting them to the line. And over again, they did it, and they did it flawlessly. And that's not even to go into the way he was mixing up the horizontal game, the vertical game, the run game. Overall, a big win for Davis Webb tonight.
Dude, he looked great. We had no issues switching out the personnel. This was awesome, man. And to see the deep shots, like you said, I want to see Davis Webb open this thing up. You saw it. Deep shots to Courtland Sutton all over the place. Big reception by Troy Franklin down the field. We had one, I think that was at least like 15 yards there from Pat Bryant, right? So, dude, I love to see the aggressiveness. Shout out Evan Ingram, right? We saw some Evan Ingram in this, and Davis Webb.
You haters, get on board while you can, guys. Come on with me. Let's go. He was blocking too, man. Come on.
Dude, there was one guy You know who you are. You're watching this. You said, Evan Ingram can block. Trust me. Evan Ingram looked good blocking today. All right. I'll give you that. This didn't look like a showcase game. This looked like Evan Ingram could have a role on the team type of game. So I'm very happy with Davis Webb and how he deployed the talent. It made sense today. So that's great.
Yeah. Kodiak, what were your thoughts on Davis Webb's first game calling? Well, second game technically, but first one of the new era.
I mean, you basically all summed it up. I thought it was fantastic. And a lot of those operational inefficiencies that we saw were not present tonight. Now, what I will say, a little too many penalties. It's okay. We'll get that ironed out. As long as it's not an issue like it was in week 8, 9, 10 still last year, I'm not worried, at least not yet. That being said, man, Davis Webb did a heck of a job tonight. And I want to shout out Stiddy. Coinciding with Davis Webb, I want to shout out Jarrett Stidham because the hot starts were an issue last year, man. You know, we were very, very fortunate if we could even put up points in the first quarter in the regular season last year. But it took us 5 plays, 6 plays to put them up tonight. And I know Stidham's been hearing all the noise about the backup QB competition, but I feel like Davis Webb put him in a lot of good positions to succeed. First play of the game to Pat Bryant, absolutely loved that. You know, Pat Bryant has earned that opportunity based on how his training camp has gone. And then Cortland Sutton, dude. Cortland Sutton is just absolutely filthy. Want to shout out him as well. David rocking the Sutton jersey. Absolutely love to see it. But yeah, really liked what I saw from Davis Webb tonight. He knew when to give guys touches. He knew when to give guys carries. He knew what personnel and when to deploy it. And that was kind of an issue with Peyton last year. I feel like he was not, for as great as he is, he was not in his bag with that. So great performance from Davis Webb. Very happy.
Yeah, Pat Bryant getting the first catch was on brand. And then, of course, you got Cortland Sutton and then a 40-yard bomb to Cortland Sutton. And all I was thinking about was all the people telling me that Cortland Sutton is washed and needs to be cut. And so I immediately tweeted out Sutton showcase game just to see what would happen. So I was having fun with that. Look, guys, Cortland Sutton is, I mean, imagine Bo Nix in this offense now, guys. He's going to feast on this stuff. Ellinger, I think he was dealt a little bit of a bad hand tonight.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
The he got.
The deck was stacked against him. Yeah.
So next week we'll probably see, Bo Nix come out for a little bit, and then Ellinger will get the second swing out. And hopefully he'll have, a few more people in the personnel department to help him out. So I'm going to try and get caught up on this chat with you guys. See if
good luck. We got some
Kodiak was behind on the depth chart. What does he mean by that, Kodiak? Don't know.
I don't even remember.
Drew Sanders got a sack in there. I saw. I'll credit Zach Seegers. It's like Haley's Comet. So it comes about every 47 years or whatever, but he made a play. So, good on him. But your boy Hakeem Butler did not make a play tonight. In fact, just the opposite, David. Your wishful thinking might have sailed on that one.
No. Well, yes, but my wishful thinking has not sailed on Drew Sanders. Kodiak and I spent a good 10 minutes, it felt like, talking about him this afternoon. And man, it was freaking awesome to see him go out there, get that sack in the fourth quarter. How many sacks did Johnny Walker have? That will be an interesting competition. But man, Jack, let's go back to it, dude. If there's a sixth wide receiver right now, I like Man Jack. This dude doesn't even need gloves. This is amazing.
They used to not need gloves, David. You didn't know that?
Dude, every wide receiver I've watched throughout my whole life, outside of maybe Eddie McCaffrey, has always used gloves, man. This man doesn't even need gloves to catch it. He's a throwback. I like him. He looked nice out of TCU, and he's got good size. So, Sean Payton sees, hey, maybe he can play some big slot. But Man Jack, like Spoomster's saying, dude, he was impressive today. We got elite wide receivers going back to Sutton, going back to Waddle. The last wide receiver duo we had to both get 1,000 yards. I believe it. Well, was it DT or Sanders, or was it DT and Eric Decker? Either way, it doesn't matter, dude. We could have 2 1,000-yard receivers this year. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, this is going to be a tough roster to make for wide receivers. obviously we've got the big five, and then there's some quality depth there, man. Jack being one of them. Kodiak, what did you see from this receiver group tonight, especially out of the young guys? Man, Jack obviously was a star. Cameron Ross, Cassis got a little play. There's a lot of names out there. Anything stand out to you with those guys?
Yeah, I had kind of thought about this with Manjack because he was kind of an afterthought to me throughout the offseason. And then I go to training camp like 10 or so days ago and I see him catch 2 passes. And I'm just like, wow, I forgot that we brought him in. But shout out to Spoomster for the generosity. Thank you.
By the way, Spoomster, it's great to meet you. Awesome dude supporting your guy. I don't know what you're up to here, but normally on Monsters, I will go. If I get $40 in super chats, I go 40 minutes longer. So you are exempt from that rule at this point because we got another show to do after that. But after this one, because at this rate, we'll be going till midnight. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. But let's go, man, Jack. That's. I love seeing that your guy did so well tonight, Spoomster. So great to see you in here. Go ahead, Kodiak.
Yeah, but Manjack, once again, I saw him make a couple nice catches from Ellinger when I went to training camp, and I was like, you know what? I think once the physicality ramps up and once it gets deeper into training camp, I thought it was going to be really hard for Katzis, Ross, and Key, and a few other guys to actually beat out this dude. Now, as far as the other backup receivers, didn't see a whole lot from Key. Saw Katzis get a couple targets here and there, but I didn't think he really made the most of them, to be honest. And that's kind of how I felt when I went to training camp 10 or so days ago. And yeah, overall, I think if there is a sixth wide receiver, screw all the noise between Humphrey and Hakeem Butler. Just because that battle is not transpiring in the way that I want with Hakeem Butler, now it's time to start pushing Joseph Manjack propaganda and agendas.
Yeah. And shout out again to you, Spoomster. Appreciate you. All right. The biggest battle tonight, and let's get to this right away. Stidham, Ellinger. We said it already. Ellinger obviously got kind of the short end of the stick here with the personnel he played, but Stidham, Kodiak said it. You got to give him credit.
Yep.
Looks great. Looks great in a dome. Looks great when there's no pressure. But he looked great. He did exactly what was asked of him. He looked loose. He actually escaped the pocket once, David. Looking like Ben Roethlisberger or something. But let's give him credit where it's due. The guy played a heck of a game. What do you say? Who won the night between the two?
Well, Stidham won the night. But like we talked about, man, he had a much nicer deck of cards than he was playing with than Sam Ellinger, man. I mean, this dude would just be able to throw things up to Cortland Sutton. He's coming down with one hand and catches at the 1 yard line, dude. I mean, if Sam Ellinger had Cortland Sutton out there instead of these guys just dropping passes all the time, it might have looked a little bit more close. But you got to give Stidham credit. He made big time throws. He looked confident. There are still the same issues that we've seen with him, though. Once we saw that first string offensive line get out of there, we saw him become a little bit more, ruffled by the pressure, kind of losing accuracy. There was one to Evan Ingram that I think could have been for a first down that was kind of thrown behind his body. And I guess Evan Ingram, you could say he dropped it, but I'm putting that on Stidham, man. So
that was a bad pass.
Yeah. Sam Ellinger, I thought he looked like the third string quarterback in this matchup, but we'll see how he looks. I think this next game will be pretty telling, but right now, dude, if Stidham has the lead right now on this QB2 job, and which means we should probably eventually look for another quarterback to bring in here. So, but I won't go down that rabbit hole today.
Yeah, we got all week to do that, but I will say the one thing that's, before I throw it to you, Kodiak, the one thing that surprised me, by the way, Spoomster, where in Kentucky, I need to know. I'll let you know in a minute why, but Ellinger, I thought he moved well, on his design run play and a couple of his escapes, kind of Bo Nixie looking out there, but his arm looked, dare I say, a little floaty tonight to me. I was surprised.
That's how it's always looked.
Is it? Okay, because he looked like Kyle Orton or something like Orton back there. Like he was just floating balls out there. I was not impressed with his arm strength. I thought he got really lucky on the interception. He could have had another pick. Not a good night for Ellinger. Kodiak, obviously, Stiddy won the night. What were your thoughts on the two quarterbacks tonight?
Yeah, so I had already touched on Stidham. Really dope to see him get off to a really hot start. Love seeing that. But as far as Ellinger, I mean, you guys kind of said it. Like he was kind of set up for this. I'm not going to say he was set up for failure or anything like that. But I'm curious to see him once again next week when we play Minnesota. I assume we're going to get Bo, but I assume he is going to get the first crack at being the backup quarterback, and I assume that Stidham is going to get the second half of that game. But either way, I kind of agree with you. Like Ellinger, he did kind of float some things out there. Like you guys remember the almost interception that was really, really close, but just barely out of bounds. That's a good example, I think, of one that may have been out there a second or two too long. But hey, man, one thing I will say is that I feel like Ellinger throughout camp and from what we saw tonight, I feel like the chemistry really builds with some of his connections, and he does a really good job of that. And I don't really see that with Stidham. I feel like Stidham is much more spread around, but I feel like Ellinger is much more like the funnel it to one guy sort of thing. And we saw that with Joseph Banjak tonight. So that's cool. So we'll see who Stidham or who Ellinger can focus on this upcoming week when we play Minnesota next Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to change next week. And you're right. We'll get a different look of both of those guys. And you're right. I mean, Stidham, he's more like a system guy. He's not, he's not what you would call a playmaker, I guess we should say. Okay. All right. Every super chat goes up, of course, and Spoomster is dominating in the super chat area. Lexington, Richmond area. Cameron Ross is a baller. He deserves an upgrade if there's any injuries in wide receiver room. I mean, he made a case for himself to make the practice squad for sure. He and Manjack, I think, tonight. It'll be interesting to see what they do on that practice squad, but I think they both deserve another look. They got a lot of run in the return name from Ross, and Sean Fresh, of course, was back there a lot tonight. That was good to see. Okay, so Lexington. So Brandenburg, Kentucky. My mother went to the University of Louisville, and I grew up in Brandenburg, Kentucky. So I'm very familiar with the area you live in. So nice to meet you, brother. Here we go. Cornbread says, now watch Tanner McKee tomorrow. So Cornbread wants us to go get Tanner McKee. I don't know that I've done a show where he hasn't said that needs to happen. So
That's right.
Ronk in the house. Broncos play Green Bay Packers in game 2 of NFL preseason. Yeah, that's in Denver, by the way. 2 of my favorite teams, the Broncos and my NFC team are the Packers. So I'm looking forward to that game. Looking forward to beating them handily at home. Let's get back to this game, though, if we can. We had our eyes on tight ends tonight, too, guys. Look, there's not a lot to talk about there. Evan Ingram had a nice game. As far as Ingram games go, we can say he had a nice game. Didn't see anything really from anybody else. Jolie threw a block or two. Did Dolan Bentley do anything? Did I miss anything there? What did I miss with the tight ends, Kodiak? Or was it just as meh as I thought?
So, yes, it was very meh. I would even say it's pretty underwhelming considering what our expectations were for this tight end room. I don't really know how the floor can get any lower for this tight end room, but I feel like it's starting to get there as we go further and further into the offseason. But what I will say, okay, Jolie, yes, you were right. He made a nice little lead block, but I feel like you guys remember that third down or fourth, or no, it was 4th and 3. You guys remember that play where Matt Parrott jumped for the false start penalty? I'm pretty confident that play was going to Dolan Bentley.
Yeah,
I saw Dolan Bentley run that route with so much urgency. I thought I saw Ellinger look his way, but then Pert just jumps, and now we're in 4th and 8, and we get the bad snap, and you know the rest. But yeah, Pert, we'll talk about him later. Huge stock down. But either way, as far as Dolan Bentley, that's kind of what I saw from him tonight. So hopefully that his involvement can ramp up as we get further into this preseason and offseason.
Yeah.
My wife named him Matt Fart tonight. I hope that doesn't turn into something, but PHART. She wanted to know who that was, and it took me a minute to figure it out.
I will still
pretty accurate.
I'll still stand on this. there better not be more than 4 tight ends on this active 53-man roster. If we're going to keep more than that, I'm going to be quite upset. But
There'll
yeah,
be 4.
Evan
There'll be-
Ingram, 1 catch, 24 yards down the seam. Then I think our next highest performing tight end was Lucas Kroll with a 4-yard catch. So,
Yeah.
Not
I mean, well, look, we don't talk about Ingram all night. I already said my thing, and whatever happens. But I would like to have seen something from Bentley and Jolie tonight. And there just wasn't much there. I was on the lookout for Tyler Onyedem. I was on the lookout for Q Robinson. And I was on the lookout for Jahdae Barron, who, let's go. Karene Reed was right there. The tandem works. We got a 95-yard pick 6 from Jahdae Barron tonight. David, good to see, right?
dude, we got 4 elite corners now. I ain't gonna speak bad about any of these guys, man. Riley Moss actually catching an interception. That was great to see. Jahdae Barron showing great hands. And what Barron also shows that he's a very smart player. Got himself in position to jump another route later in the game to possibly get a second interception. But he's
Who funded that one? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a hand injury too. So, it is what it is. But I think we got 4 really, really good, five great corners. I think when you factor in KAD, but there was only like one play that I wasn't really great. There was like a 3rd down, I think, or a long, 2nd and long or something that he gave up, where I thought he could jump the route a little bit more, but he came up and made some big plays after that. So overall, I had to throw Barron in my thumbnail too. Was so stoked to see him get that. And again, to see him make big plays, that's just what we want to see out of a first-round corner. So I'll let Kodiak finish it off, but I was so happy for him.
Yeah, what do you say, Alex?
Yeah, man, I'm happy for him too. And I'm a little disappointed in the sideline. You know why? Because during that sideline shot when Barron was running down and you could see the guys on the sideline, I would have thought there would be more guys energized and jumping on our bench. But, oh, well, such is life. Either way, really, really happy with Jahdae Barron. I know that he has heard the noise. I know that he has probably heard all the, media and whatever, and us being like, is this guy going to look the part of a first-round corner? And, man, what a way to do it tonight, all right? And I feel like this could be the flip the switch moment, okay? The past 2 times I've come on with Mr. David Marshall here, I've talked about him needing his flip the switch moment. I've talked about him needing just his, maybe his Terrell Davis lays the hit in Tokyo sort of moment. And this could be huge.
I told that story tonight just because of Jahdae Barron tonight. I had to tell that story, educate the kids in the room. So it was pretty cool that you bring that up too.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe this is all he needs. You never know what a play like that could do for a player's confidence, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's Karene Reed that made the play, man, Barron's speed on that return was filthy, dude.
It was. He looked great running down the field. And, the second pick, if he could have sealed the deal right there, but he was in the right place at the right time, and that's half the battle being a cornerback. So good on him. And good on Riley Moss, guys. Having a great camp. Comes out, gets a nice pick early in the game to set the tone. David, good to see Riley Moss come out and get a pick as well. This defense was swarming early. It looked like the defense.
Yeah. What was the big theme? We need to force turnovers. And, how many have we forced today? Was it just 2? Was it only 2?
2 big ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was fantastic, man, to see him come out, get that interception, starting off the season the right way, man. First team defense looked dominant and unstoppable. Shout out to Malcolm Roche as well. He had an amazing sack there at the beginning of the game where he just had to touch him. Then he's out there celebrating like crazy.
Yeah. And he had a Roach clip. So we had a Roach clip on the pass.
Yeah,
I always call him. I don't call him tips when he does. I call him Roach clips because I just think it's cool because I'm hip.
Dude, it was great, but yeah, Roach looked like that guy. Again, he's been talked about as like one of the biggest risers throughout camp, and I think that he's been the reason why I've been worried about JFM leaving, and he showed that today.
Yeah, all around great performance by the defense. Certainly, VJ called a good game tonight. It was obvious he was kind of in his bag. So it was good to see. It was good to see all the pass rush. It was good to see the pressure. first of all, no major injuries that we know of, so that's great too. So let's move over to a little bit to the new guys here, and Andy NFL. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please do. If you want to learn about football and players, at Andy NFL, one of the best in the business. I want to talk about these rookies, but before I do that, I want to get into this prize pick.
Yes. So, of course, guys, Prize Picks sponsoring the show. Use that code HMA right now if you play $5 and you use that code. And we'll figure out the presentation to this, but it's preseason, all right? And anyways, if your $5 thing hits, then you can get $150 in bonus bucks. Links in the description. And use that code HMA. But Kodiak and I had a 3-pick power play today. And man, did we get screwed by the football gods here, man. We had Evan Ingram over the 5.5 receiving yards. He absolutely demolished that. Then we had Hakeem Butler, dude. Dude has hands the size of Rob Gronkowski and can't catch the ball, man. Zero receiving yards. This was devastating for my Hakeem Butler agenda over the past 3 months, man. This was devastating. Now I'm a man-jack guy. And then Tua, dude. Line is at 22.5, dude. This guy can't get over that right at 22 passing yards. So we'll try it again for next week. We'll find another fun power play for the Broncos and Packers. But Kodiak, any last words on our failed power play here?
I mean, I guess I just really overestimated Atlanta coming into this game, because I was like, okay, 22.5 passing yards from Tua, I figured that their starters would play a few series, much like ours, but the fact that they couldn't get that, I knew Butler was a bit of a flight risk here, but I thought Ellinger was going to target him. So we'll see. That is a little interesting, but Lil Jordan Humphrey didn't see him do much either on special teams. So maybe that battle is just, maybe both guys end up losing and getting cut. Who knows?
Yeah. Well said.
All right. Shout out Prize Picks. Sorry about, I wasn't expecting a 3-man show and I didn't have a card for presentation and 3 people at the same time. So I'm firing my producer in the morning. Cornbread says, if you didn't notice, they were running away from York and he almost shut it down. All right. Well, let's get into it. Torian York, Red Murdoch, green dots, and making plays out there. Kodiak, what'd you see from our 2 new linebackers out there tonight?
So let's start with York because I think he'll be quicker first. As far as York, I only really saw him in that Falcons red zone possession, where Jalil had fumbled. But he looked really, really darn good. He was a part of a gang tackle at the line of scrimmage. Then he got a TFL, and then I think he was so close to getting another TFL. So he was living in the Falcons backfield. Now he didn't end up coming up with the play, but you know what? The finishing will come, as long as you're causing havoc. I think that's really all you need. But either way, we're super stoked to see York. And I haven't been like a York stan or anything like that, but I want all our inside linebackers to play well. So yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll pass it over to David Marshall before we talk about Red Murdoch. What'd you see?
David wants to talk about Torian York.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I want to talk about both of these rookie linebackers because they're freaking good. But I guess York only had 1 TFL. For some reason, I thought he had 2, and he was close to getting a 3rd on that goal line. But that's where you saw his slightly short arms come into play. There on that goal line one. He had the positioning, but slightly short. But I was happy with him. Yeah, he kind of like that out there. Just barely missed the ankle. But man, Red freaking Murdoch. I think Andy said it right. We got our next Danny Trevathan. That's the big takeaway from this. He looked fine in pass coverage, guys. Did you see him bring down that wide receiver on the crossing route? That was
a wide receiver he was chasing, and he kept up with him. Yeah, because people were saying, "Oh, look, we got burned by a running back out of the." I was like, "No, that's a wide receiver." And he actually was there to make the play. Tough play.
Yeah, and dude, he communicated well. We saw him he was a brick wall, and I can't wait to see how he develops. So I think I'll lay to rest my Bobby Wagner agenda. I like what we saw out of Corene Reed, out of Red Murdoch, and out of Torian York, man. I like what we saw out of those guys.
Yeah, I thought Corene Reed had a nice game. York, limited. but he was impactful, right? But Murdoch, I watched him a lot while he was in there. He kind of like was when Jonah Coleman was in there. I wasn't really watching the ball. I was just seeing what Coleman was doing, if he was blocking, if he was protecting, whatever was going on. Kind of did that with Murdoch too. He didn't like. I mean, he got knocked down one time on one play, but he was kind of caught in traffic, and that happens. But other than that, I thought he was in the right place at the right time. Good first game from him. Kodiak, thoughts on Murdoch?
Man, you guys have said it. And not only is Murdoch our next stage to rate them, when was the last time we had an inside linebacker with aura? Okay. Alexander Johnson had some sick dreads and a visor or whatever. But Red Murdoch, he just looks the part of an inside linebacker one out there. All right. So hopefully, as it goes on in the preseason, hopefully his game can develop a little bit. And one thing I love so much about Murdoch is that he is a forced fumble magnet. Okay. If you guys didn't know, Red Murdoch had the most forced fumbles in college football history while he was at Buffalo, surpassing another Buffalo Bulls alumni, Khalil Mack. And it's just dope that we finally have an inside linebacker who could potentially get takeaways. We haven't had that in a long time,
Yes.
I can live with getting burned here and there if you get takeaways. And you know what? They didn't come tonight, but they will eventually if you keep flying around like that. Because man, oh man, did he look good.
Yeah, a lot of players had good nights tonight. A few players had bad nights. Let's get into our studs and duds here. If we should, I probably should do that, right? Please hit the like button. I show 300 watching right now live, so I don't know where YouTube gets that. If that's Twitter and here, or if that's
it's Twitter, YouTube. Come support us on YouTube, guys. It does.
If you're watching, if you're watching on Twitter, please come over to one of our YouTube. You get Kodiak Bronco, Let David Talks Broncos, Mile High Monsters, any of these, and smash the like. It makes a huge difference on who else gets to see this. So, David, I'm going to start with you. Give me one of your stars of the night. Who really gained some traction or caught your eye, or who just had a great game that would
stars of the night. Is it somebody else we got to talk about?
Doesn't have to be. I'm just curious who your stars were.
Well, my star of the night, it's screw it, dude. It's gotta be Jonah Coleman, man. I loved how he looked. 4 rushes, 24 yards. I think he also had a catch. Maybe he didn't. I guess not. But he's everything that I was hoping, man. And again, there are a few players that we get so invested in, starting in January, that you hope he's a Bronco and then you hope he's good. This was a great feeling to see him look the part and erase any of the questions on if he's athletic enough for the NFL. So. Yeah.
I like that call out. I mean, he's certainly one of my favorite players to watch. And it was most encouraging to me to see him look better than I hoped he would look. And I hoped he looked really good. I'll throw one out for me. I thought Throckmorton played a hell of a game at center tonight. Offensive line didn't miss a beat with him in there, really. And I think, it's nice to call out, our 4th string center having to start the game, and did a fine job as far as I'm concerned. I thought he looked fine out there. Communication on the line looked good. So I was really happy to see that. So shout out to him. We don't get to shout out those guys very often, so I wanted to do that tonight. Kodiak, give me one of your studs of the game.
Yeah, so as far as one of my studs of the game, you know what? I'll piggyback off of a guy who we said needed to have a good game, Jahdae Barron, man. I know we talked about him a little bit, but he just so badly needed to have a good performance tonight, and man, did he ever deliver. Okay. Not only was he in play to make that pick 6, not only was he in play to catch that other one before I think Hufanga gave him some mind control and Hufanga stole his jersey just for that one play, wink, wink. Yeah. But also, I was impressed with his tackling, man. He had that one-on-one tackle with that either wide receiver or running back, I can't remember. And man, if that guy breaks out of Barron's reach, I think that guy has a chance to go for a big play. And all elements of Barron's game were cooking tonight, especially as he was playing the outside quarterback position, which it was a question as to if he could hold up on the outside in the NFL. Really, really happy with what we saw from Jahdae tonight.
Yeah, I was really relieved. Pick number 20 in the draft last year, and your first round pick should be something special, or at least look really good. And he looked the part tonight. He looked really good. It's just, David always said, it's coming. It's okay to wait a while, but I wanted to see that from him, and he needed it. I love Cornbread here. He says Cortland Sutton. Yeah, he's definitely a star of the game tonight. Limited in snaps, but boy, he makes a big impact. I've got some tweets I need to send out to some certain people out there who've been telling me the court's cooked. So I'm looking forward to that revenge tour. David, there's a lot of players had great games tonight.
Yeah.
Some players hurt themselves. Hakeem Butler probably hurt himself a little bit. By the way, let me ask you guys, who tipped in the fourth quarter with like a minute and a half left? Who was the defensive back that tipped away that home run ball?
Fresh.
Was it Sean Fresh?
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to go big night for Sean Fresh. Did great catching the ball, returning the ball. I take the easy money. And good night for him, man. He he fielded all the kicks that were sent his way. He looked athletic. He looked good and made a big play on defense. So good on him trying to make the practice squad. David, you got one more you can give me? I want one more from you guys.
Oh, man. Well, dude, I'm going out of left field on freaking this one. How about the greatest 6th-round pick we've ever had outside of Terrell Davis?
Rasha?
Right. Dude, with that freaking boomer, he had a 60-plus yard punt tonight. I think. Let's see if I can find it here really quick. Come on now. Where's the punting? 62-yard long punt, dude. This guy's an absolute unit. He's a weapon, and just so important for special teams to have that. So wanted to shout him out. He's one of the few guys on the roster we haven't gotten to today. But yeah, big booter. Love it. Yeah,
Cam Parker says mainly Broncos. He says low-hanging fruit, Barron and Moss were studs for sure. Yeah, Moss had a great game, man. And he's had a great camp, so it was great to see. Am I missing anybody, Kodiak? Did we everybody? There were a lot of players that played well. It's kind of hard to find a star, when you're in and out of the lineup so much. Yeah. I mean, Stidham was a stud tonight. I mean, you kind of have to give it to him. Maybe if you don't have one, we'll move to duds or stay on duds. Maybe I already moved over there. I'm kind of caught up in this chat. The chat's on fire. Shout out to you guys.
Doing great.
With all the people in the chat, there should be at least 100 likes on this stream, by the way. Duds. Man, I don't know. Jaleel really hurt himself, I think, with that fumble. It's going to hurt him. And, he was in trouble for fumbling last year. Comes out with a fumble again tonight. But I thought Cage Casey looked good. I can't really find any more duds. The long snapper that came in for Fraboni, maybe. Not Lutz's fault, but honestly,
who was that guard we had? He's going to need a couple of years on the practice squad, I think.
Oh. I'm trying to think. Who was that guy? Holst?
The guard?
No, yeah, Holsky, man.
Holy cow. He was rough.
Yeah.
What's funny is I didn't even know that name until I saw it tonight, and then I looked at it, looked him up, and I was like, oh, I guess he is on the team. So I was going to say Tyson Anderson might have. And, David knows this. I've been predicting he doesn't make the team anyway, but, he kind of had a mixed bag game for me.
Money to be safeties we cut in preseason.
I think the 1-year deal is not a big deal, but I think a lot of this stuff we have to go back and watch the game, right? Because we're kind of watching the game. We'll have to go back, and so next week when we kind of do the full report on this is more of just like the react show. But all in all, guys, a great effort by the Broncos. Huge win. Look, like I said, you can't win them all, and if you don't win the first one, so. Shout out to everybody that showed up, everybody that played. Nobody got hurt. Cooper played. Actually looked really good tonight. Much to my dismay, and good on him. So it should be noted that the Falcons Pierce was suspended 8 games for kind of the same stuff as Cooper. So we'll see what happens with Cooper, but. A lot of depth in that room too. Kodiak, the pass rush looked good. The outside guys look good. It'll be tough sledding when you start making cuts in that room.
Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. And, we were so excited to see Drew Sanders get a sack. So we'll see how that competition between him and Johnny Walker progresses. I will say, not that I thought these guys had a bad night or anything like that, but I was just hoping for just a little bit more from both Onyedim and Savion, especially because when I had seen them at training camp, both these guys looked the part. Now, I will say, I don't remember who that number 90 guy is. Who's the nose tackle? Is that Miller?
Yeah, it's gosh, why am I blanking on his name? I keep wanting to call him Jim Miller, but he played quarterback.
Yeah, no. I think it's
R. Miller, the monster, the huge Tyler Miller? No,
Jordan Miller. Okay.
Jordan Miller.
It was Jordan Miller, and man, I got to be honest, wasn't really impressed. And I thought I wanted to see Savion and Onyeta with a different nose tackle because I saw that dude just getting thrown into the second level pretty much every play. Like I thought when Atlanta wanted to make it muddy with those three guys on the field, they could. But yeah, I was just hoping for a little bit more from Onyeta and Savion. But you know what? We're not going to wave the white flag yet.
You know what? I've gotten so many super chats from this gentleman. I wasn't sure if I missed this one or not, but all I needed was a bit more from the edge rushers, but other than that, I'm satisfied. Well, I'm glad I got to the subject anyway before I saw that. So, I mean, it would have been. We got a couple sacks, a lot of pressures, flushed them out a lot tonight. But the one thing I would say to that Spoomster is that VJ just let it go down to individual efforts. He didn't scheme anything. He's not going to scheme any blitzes or anything like that. He's not going to have any fun. So. The sacks will come. I think the talent's there. I thought I would like to have seen Q Robinson make a few more plays tonight, or like Kodiak was saying, Savion, somebody, Onyeta. Like I would like to have seen the defensive line do a little bit more. Zach Allen kind of just got through the game and got the hell out of there. I don't blame him, but overall, you got to be happy with offense, defense, special teams. Maybe not. The penalties will clean themselves up, guys. I've been watching too many of these preseason games to start worrying about penalties already. I mean, that's just initial slop and people playing with people they don't normally play with. Am I keeping you up, David? Are you going to be all right? We got another show to do right after this. Dude.
Got to get jolted up.
Okay, we got to get jolted up. Guys, in 28 minutes, David and I will be live on Believe in Broncos, BLEAV. We'll hopefully put in the description or something, but we'll be there. David, actually just put a comment in there that shows our handle, Believe in Broncos. So we've got everybody watching here. Get over to Believe, and another post-game show starting right there. So we have to do that. And we can't wait to continue talking about this game and everything we saw. David's going to get some caffeine in him, and we're going to get fired up. Any last words, Kodiak, before we get out of here, besides thanking Spoomster for paying your rent and your StreamYard bill and your new lighting you're going to get?
I mean, hey, man, maybe I could get one of these Temu jerseys to go along with Palcho and Moss in the back there. Thank you, Spoomster, for all your generosity tonight. That being said, man, doesn't it feel good to have Broncos football back? Okay. Yes, I'm happy with this game, but let's not lose sight of what's happening a month from now. Week 1 at the Kansas City Chiefs. If you do well on your practice tests, you will do well on your real tests. That kind of happened to me with the SAT, except I didn't do good on the real SAT. But, I think things will be different for the Broncos this time around. So, yeah, really, really happy the Broncos are back in action. And, man, how many people do we have watching us live now across all these different platforms, Mike Carmellini?
324.
324. 324 of you. So thank you all for riding with us, man. Broncos country, we're back. Hit me at Kodiak Broncos on TikTok or YouTube. And while you're there, check out these amazing gentlemen as well.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on tonight, Kodiak. Appreciate you being on. Always welcome on all our shows, of course, because we need your expertise. David, what do you got? What do you got to say to the people out there?
Well, hey, chat supporters, dude, you guys are awesome. We're talking about our first preseason game. We got over 300 people in here. You know what this means, guys. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. You guys go subscribe to our channels on YouTube. You don't want to miss the season with us. You guys make it really special because we interact with you guys all the time. Now, with that being said, you can find us at Believe here in a little under 30 minutes. And one more takeaway with how the quarterbacks, Sam Ellinger looked, whatnot. It would not, wouldn't upset me son Diego Pavia this practice.
There we go. You can't get through one show without throwing out one of your conspiracy theories, bro. Come on.
Okay, I'll leave you one more. Drew Sanders for Michael Penix.
No, I told you we don't want a no-legged quarterback. He's left-handed too. It's not happening.
He is left-handed. So,
all right.
Hopefully you'll see us for the next post game after we've signed Taysom Hill. That's the last thing I needed to say.
Strez,
After how the
Strez just
Titans
unsubscribed thanks to you. By the way, check out Strez. It's Strez. I think that's his handle on
the hub,
on Twitter,
Pro
but it's
Hub.
Pro Football Hub. Check him out over there. He's got some great programming over there, and all Cam Parker, of course, over at mainly Broncos. And then I saw Cody in here from Still Up Sports. All the monsters. Shout out to the only true fan in here, which of course is Spoomster. So you win the night. Appreciate it. It was great meeting you. Go Kentucky. Go Wildcats. Go Louisville Cardinals. Go Brandenburg. What's left of it. Go Broncos. We'll see you on Believe in about 25 minutes, guys. Get over there. Smash the like.